Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bowl TV. This is Matt Canizaro alongside Aaron Smith, and we are live here at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters at Samstown Bowling Center in Las Vegas. We will be here all week long for 3 days of qualifying, 5 games a day, and then we'll cut the field down to the top 63 plus defending champion Hall of Famer Amleto Monacelli for the exciting double elimination match play bracket. We'll have all that for you. Wire to wire coverage here on Bowl TV. Right now, game number 1 of A squad. We'll have 3 squads at this year's event, 262 players. Best USBC members age 50 and above. Each squad will bowl 5 games a day over 3 days. A squad bowling on the fresh oil pattern. If you're curious what that is, you can visit bowl.com/Senior Masters. And all the details are there. I know that because I put them there. This year we're bowling on a 40-foot oil pattern, 28.84 mils of ice oil. And this is the first game of A squad, 5 games on the fresh. B squad will be on for 5 games on the burn. And then C squad, 5 games on the double burn. And then they'll rotate. So each group will get a chance to see each variation of the lane condition before we cut the field down from 262 to the top 63 plus defending champion Amleto Monacelli. So sit back and enjoy live coverage of the USBC Senior Masters with Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith. Feature pair, 21 and 22 to the right, Hall of Famer Robin Romeo, Rick Manier, and past Super Senior Classic champion Jim Canobla. And to our left, Henderson, Nevada's Brian Cooper. Joseph Imperator. Joseph Petrovich. So we've got a couple of 3 pairs here. Looks like most of the pairs have 3 players. One pair to our right has 4. Again, 262 players split up over 3 squads. So action should go pretty quick today. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Sit back and enjoy. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat room for us. We'll be glad to answer those. Details about the event, the schedule, the oil pattern, and eventually the results can be found at bowl.com/Senior Masters, as well as a link to the live scoring here at Samstown Bowling Center, so you can keep an eye on your favorite players as they cross the house. We are here for your entertainment for the next 5 days. Hello, Matthew Graham. First one to check in the chat room from Stockton, California. Bright and early on this Tuesday morning. Again, if you have any questions about the schedule for this event, you can visit bowl.com/Senior Masters, and it'll tell you what time everything starts each day. We'll have all rounds live on Bowl TV. 3 days of qualifying, followed by the double-elimination match play bracket, and of course, the finals of this year's Senior Masters. Also can visit bowl.com/livestream. See the schedule. If you missed any of the action, always have the opportunity to go back in the Bowl TV archives. Check those out. Earlier in this trip, we had the ITRC Super Senior Classic. Bowlers age 60 and older. They bowled 16 games over 2 days. Got to the top 25% for 4 more games of the Cashers round. And then the exciting step ladder finals. If you missed that, you missed a good one. So go back and check it out. Japan's Junichi Yajima taking down top seed Rod Moore in the championship match. The semifinal was the dramatic one. I don't want to spoil it for you, so go back later on today or next week or whenever, but make sure you check that out. Pretty cool. And we'll see a lot of those competitors here this week at the USBC Senior Masters now. USBC members age 50 and older, men and women. Some of the best in the world. Our defending champ, Amleto Monacelli. Also have 2-time past champions, Tom Baker, Dale Traber, past winner Pete Weber. Pretty talented field. And of course, the ever-talented Aaron Smith.
Good morning, Matthew.
Hello.
And hello to everyone out here in Bowl TV land watching the USBC Senior Masters. Thanks for joining us here bright and early in Las Vegas. If you're a little bit further east, it's almost lunchtime, which sounds fantastic right about now, but take us on the go with you for that delicious treat. Right now, game 1 of 5 for our opening block. Thought Brian Cooper had the conversion there. Tough break. Sent him over there, did not tumble. Definitely will have a quick pace today. We're already halfway through game number 1 as Jim Knobloch delivers the strike for the 5th on 21. So be sure to visit bowl.com later this evening. We'll have a recap story expertly written by Matt Cannizzaro with our opening round leaders. So we'll get a chance to talk to a few folks throughout the day, of course, with 3 squads, A, B, and C. We'll get a chance to see how the scores progress through the burn and double burn. So only 1 oil for the day. So each competitor will get the opportunity to see the transition throughout the 3 rounds of qualifying. So for these competitors on A squad, this is their only opportunity to see the fresh until match play. And a good save there by Brian. That could have gotten bad quick there. check the footing, make sure everything's all right. Since he never released the bowling ball, that would not be considered a foul, so still gets the chance to start fresh here in the 6th. Had the opportunity to see Robin Romeo make some history here on Bowl TV in Las Vegas not too long ago. The USBC Senior Queens taking place at the Orleans here in Las Vegas. Romeo captured her 3rd consecutive tiara, matching fellow Hall of Famer Sandy Postma for the most in tournament history, or most titles in tournament history. Robin was the first player to defend a title and first to make it 3 in a row. And now she's going to see how she fares against this field of 260 plus.
Mr. Smith, I did the walk. See what's going on end to end. And we've got a sizable bowling center here. I got all the way down to lane 52 and took a breather.
Definitely get the chance to get your steps in. Running back and forth across Samstown here. I believe 56 lanes when it's all said and done.
I put the word out for the folks. If anybody's running a string and they want to let us know that perhaps we'll have the always exciting 300 game, we will be ready should we get there in time. So the message has been sent. Also, I hadn't looked at the roster for this event, and just walking up and down the concourse just for this squad alone, it's kind of a who's who of Saturday afternoon bowling. Pretty cool. Got to see Brian Voss, Bob Learn, Pete Weber on this squad, Amleto Monacelli, and then of course all the other standouts watching, getting an idea for this fresh oil pattern today. Again, first squad of the day will be fresh, then the burn and the double burn. So everybody will have an opportunity to see each level of breakdown. Always good to be here and take notes.
Yeah, definitely a full test of versatility out here this week. Not only a challenging pattern provided to us by Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider and a gold industry partner, along with Columbia 300, Hammer, and Storm. So you got the challenge of that, and then yes, with the double burn, gonna have to possibly get out of the comfort zone for some of these players, as once again there will be no re-oil throughout the day. So we're just having it in the morning. Easy day for the lane guys. Get up early, make sure the flex machines are good to go, and get the rest of the day off after that.
Well, sir, I think with the generation of folks who are watching, I think this is more in tune with what they're used to back in their PBA Tour days, and we talked about that a lot last year at the U.S. Open, where we had a similar schedule, and it was a retro type event with just the one oil per day. So we'll see how that goes. And you mentioned versatility, the possibility of the right-handers moving left, and I know it's hard to believe, but maybe the left-handers moving right even.
It's crazy talk, Matt.
Over the 3 squads, but the Kegel Ice Oil, kind of a game changer as well, coming out in 2013, designed to hold up longer, so the pattern stays truer. The transition delayed and minimal, so the double burn maybe not as threatening as it could have been prior to 2013, but again, still quite a variance from game 1 to essentially game 15 at the end of the day. So looking forward to seeing where some of these guys can get to.
Yeah, it's always interesting, and I think at the U.S. Open, not sure if there was a defined squad to be the one to get your pins at, because it definitely varies from player to player. Obviously, some folks are going to match up pretty well to the fresh here. I already see some pretty solid outings here. Just kind of looking across what we can see, folks setting up for a solid 5-game block to start things. But yeah, we really didn't see the defined squad. We saw some guys get a lot on the double burn. Of course, usually scores do tend to go up on the burn. So definitely varies from player to player what their strong suits are, and that's something you got to realize too in a kind of a marathon format to make it to match play, that you're going to have your opportunity to fall into your A game and get comfortable out there, and that's going to be when you need to get the pins. Unless you're Amleto, then you're already there, but he's still probably going to get a lot of pins because he's really, really, really good.
Well, one name that we said quite a bit last year in Green Bay was Pete Weber, and that name's been in headlines quite a bit this year as well, winning 4 consecutive PBA 50 titles, almost 5. Came up a little bit short to Noel Vasquez, but Mr. Weber, they started in recent years. I guess it's kind of a new addition to the program here, but giving out trophies for the leader each squad or each day, each round of qualifying, and then the overall qualifying leader. And for Pete Weber last year at the Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley, if I'm not mistaken, he had, I believe, 3 trophies from the regular Masters in February, and at least 3 more trophies from the Senior Masters. So he's got an entire collection of glass fruit bowls or margarita glasses or whatever you want to use them for. Took home some hardware. Bowled extremely well at both events, made the step ladder at both tournaments, and came up a little bit short in an exciting true double elimination championship match against Amleto. So Amleto had to beat Pete Weber twice to get that title. He did that. And if you're curious how all that unfolded, you can check it out in the archives on Bowl TV. Pete Weber, a couple pairs to our left, and always in the mix, I'm sure. But once you get to that bracket, it's a whole new tournament. And we heard that at the Masters and the Queens. The goal is just to make the top 64. And then anything can happen in a 1-game match, or a one-on-one match, sorry, 3-game total pinfall. So it's you and your opponent on a pair of lanes, and And that's it. You don't have to worry about what the rest of the field is doing at that point. There's no plus or minus, and pretty unique. So getting through 15 games of qualifying, the goal is to make it from 262 down to the top 63 plus Amleto, and then it's a new day, new event. Players already making their way to the next pair. Game one coming to a close. We're in the 10th frame here in our featured pairs. Rick Menier, 185. Robin Romeo can get to 207 if she can strike on the fill. Clean game for her. Jim Knoblah can get to 185 as well. So this 40-foot pattern, especially on the fresh, to be a little bit challenging for some, and some good scores across the board as well. The 19 and 20 Cooper, after the hot start, spare three-bagger. Able to throw another double late in the game, can get to 208. So on our left-hand pair, 3-9 dashes. And talking to some of the players after the practice session, of course, the idea is to strike a lot. But you got to make your spares, especially at this level against this type of competition. Cannot give away pins like that.
Ron Moore called it inexcusable at this level to miss a single pin, because he missed one, and that gave him the kick he needed after kind of getting off to a rough start in the second round of qualifying at the Super Senior Classic. That kind of brought him back into focus and ended up averaging nearly 250 after that. So if you can find a positive out of it, or you could just be like Ron.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna miss spares, you might as well not leave any. That's the best way to not have to worry about it. And Ron, very good at knocking all 10 pins down on one try. But it may not seem like a lot in a 15-game marathon like this, but potentially, you never know. Could come down to 1 or 2 pins, or even in the seeding, who you get matched up against. So many variables.
Robin Romeo leads the way on 21 and 22 with 207. Brian Cooper matches the effort over on 19 and 20 with 207 of his own. Joseph Petrovich can still get to 225 with 3 strikes in the 10th. Joseph Imperator, 191. Petrovic delivered the first strike in the 10th. Let's see if he can add one more. Essentially get them into the 220s. That's pretty good. So Joe will be off to a nice start. Once again, for all information concerning the USBC Senior Masters, visit bowl.com/Senior Masters. You'll have results, live scoring links, lane pattern information, roster, and more. As Petrovic finishes off the 225. Leads the way here in game one on our featured pairs. Lanes 19 through 22 at Samstown Bowling Center in the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Matt Cannizzaro. We appreciate everyone joining us here bright and early in Vegas on a Tuesday morning.
And talking to the bowling center staff here yesterday at Samstown, they said it will take no time at all to get the standings updated on the on-site monitors. A little hard to read from where we're at, but a pretty good idea of what things are looking like. And we'll have updated standings for you on bowl.com as well. And 262 players in the field this week, or 263 actually, I think is the number. We had a late addition to the roster. Some of you know him as Duke. Norm Duke.
So it's not Terry Bigham.
It's not Terry Bigham. Unable to make the trip. But unofficially, at least, heading into the opening round of qualifying, 263 the number. We'll have a final count after C-Squad today, just in case some bowlers couldn't make it. Tough week at the Super Senior Classic. A lot of Advil and Aleve. Well, Mr. Smith, what we're learning here is don't sweat the little things. Right now, a lot of discussion over which direction the arrows are facing here before the start of game number 2, and some players getting a little bit rattled here by the details. Either way, got to step up, knock down 10 pins. We've got 3 on each lane again, or on each pair. On our left, Timothy Pierce, Lou Moretti, and Jerry Brunetti. And on the right, Dave Shaw, Billy Langford, and Mr. Raleigh.
Shaw starts off with a little bit of trouble there. 4, 6, 7, 9. Pierce also looking at an early open, but switching pairs. Never know exactly what you're going to see. Get it out of the way if you have to get one. Shaw makes a run at it. It's a good count. Looks like Jerry Brunette Jr. in 3rd place overall after game number 1. Started with 248. Eric Forkel leading the way. It's a little cut off on the screen. Looked like possibly 257 or 259. Sorry, Jerry. Brunetti.
And we've got a John Burkett sighting in the chat room today. Could have sworn I saw John walking around here yesterday, but he does not appear to be on the roster for this week's event. Perhaps we'll have his expert analysis in the chat room throughout the week. John Burkett, of course, the Major League Baseball pitcher turned PBA 50 competitor. And a rising star in the senior ranks, and a fun guy to bowl league with back home in Fort Worth, Texas. Looks like high opening game. 257, Eric Forkel unofficially. And as the center manager mentioned yesterday, scores on the monitors in between the lanes here on site are unofficial. The tournament staff will provide the official standings, so we'll have those as soon as they become available, but unofficially, Eric Forkel, the early leader at 57 over. Game 2 rolling along, approaching the halfway point already. We'll have 5 games on A squad, followed closely by B squad. 5 additional games on the burn. C squad will be in for 5 more on the double burn. Then we'll do it all again tomorrow and the next day before we cut the field down from 260 plus to the top 63, who will join defending champ Amleto Monacelli in the double elimination match play bracket. So a lot of games to be bowled here this week at Samstown by the top USBC members age 50 and older, minus John Birkin, who's not here this week.
Not gonna lie, the 20-year reunion does sound pretty sweet, so that's pretty cool. So we'll let it slide this time. Mentioned our defending champion Amleto Monacelli bowling on this squad. And chatting with him prior to the start of the event as we put together a preview. I see Parker Bone on this squad as well. A few pairs to our right, but chatting with Amleto. Got off to a good start for 2016, winning his 20th PBA title over in Japan to kick things off. But right before the Senior US Open, things just weren't feeling right. So he had a little bit of tendonitis creeping up and wasn't doing things that Amleto does to a bowling ball. And just wasn't consistent with his release. Things weren't feeling right. So he actually made a pretty significant change, working with the span as well as pitches in his thumb. Went to, I believe, all zeros in the thumb, and to relieve some of the pressure on the tendons. And So it took him about 16 to 20 games of practice right before the Senior US Open to get comfortable with it. Ended up making the stepladder, finishing 4th in that event, and went on to win in Fountain Valley on the PBA 50 Tour the following week. So he says he's feeling pretty good about coming in here for this title defense. Once again, already seeded into the 64, but can improve his position based on his 15-game total of qualifying. Question in the chat, is that Ryan Goebel on 17 and 18? And yes, it is. .221 in the opener for Brian, and he started with 4 in a row here in game 2.
Aaron, it's only game 2, and we're seeing some head shaking throughout the venue here. Long way to go, gentlemen. A lot of games to be bowled. The different fresh burn and double burn, and so many games of qualifying. Definitely a mentally grueling event as well. In the past, perhaps 10 games of qualifying for everybody, then cut the field to just the cashers for that 3rd block. But now at the Queens Masters, Senior Masters, everybody gets to bowl 15 games. Make a run at it before the cut, so definitely get your money's worth coming to these events. Ryan Goebel striking it up, a pair to our left, front 5. Keep an eye on that. Again, who doesn't like 300 games?
Bob Learn, probably.
So should there be some excitement anywhere but our featured pairs? See if we can't get there and have some exciting video coverage for the official USBC Facebook page.
Goebel does not strike in frame number 6 after starting with the front 5. 279, still good for the 10-time PBA Tour titleist. question in the chat. Any 300s yet? Not quite. Just the first game, and 257 was the number, courtesy of Eric Forkel. Once again, we'll do our best to keep you informed of those as they, well, hopefully as they come along. Be nice to see a few of them this week. We had a few close runs at the Super Senior Classic, and you actually just saw him step up on lane 18. Did not deliver the strike in his 6th frame, but Lee Brocious fired one of those 299s at the Super Senior Classic along with Howie Partel. So still looking for the first perfect game as Lou gets a nice hit on the bucket. Take him when you can get him. But yep, still looking for that first perfect game here at Sam's Town for the week. Does appear that we have scores updated on bowl.com now, so once again, your one-stop shop for everything Senior Masters, bowl.com/Senior Masters. Click on the 2016 results tab and find qualifying round 1. So as we mentioned, Eric Forkel on top of the standings with a 257 to kick things off. Forkel, a 5-time PBA champion, also enjoys shooting .874 at events like the Masters. Is that 1996, Mr. Canizaro?
I'm gonna have to take your word on that one, sir. If only there was a place we could look this up.
I just was going for your expertise
96 doesn't sound right, but
96 doesn't sound right.
maybe 97. But I'm getting old, so.
Well, we will verify. 'Cause I would trust your call. $19.97. Well played.
Still got it. Can't have my job yet. Not time to put me in the home. .874 officially the highest 3-game series ever bowled on the championship lanes at the USBC Open Championships back in the day. The OC and the Masters shared a venue. .874. Not going to happen first 3 games today for Mr. Forkel, but I bet you he'd take 2 or 3 more 257s. That'd be an all right start. Compared to our left, Mr. Ross McDonald, spare 6-bagger. Trying to make some moves here early on the first squad. This is game 2 of 15. Sounds like a lot. It kind of is, but you get the sweet sounds of Matt and Aaron for 45 games over 3 days.
Holy cow.
Plus 3-game matches in match play, and then the exciting stepladder conclusion of this year's event. Typically, we'll bring in a famous person to join us in the booth for the finals. We will see.
I was under the impression you were the most famous person here, Matt.
Maybe the most famous person in the booth right now. I got the old I recognized your voice comment last night, walking around the casino a little bit here and seeing the bowlers around, and sometimes you get that snapback look, and I thought I heard a familiar sound. Then there's a wife nearby who says, I fall asleep listening to you all the time. So, I don't know how to take that, but thank you to your husband for watching. I'm sorry that you have to endure that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's a tough call there.
See, when I have trouble sleeping, I just turn on one of our broadcasts too, and it puts me right to sleep. So we're here to entertain you and cure your insomnia. So thanks for tuning in. Wire-to-wire coverage of the USBC Senior Masters.
Game 2 wrapping up on lanes 21 and 22. Last looks at Billy Langford. And if you're going to get a 710, that's a pretty good place for it. Phil Ball, 184. Michael Raleigh, 162. Dave Shaw can still get to 182 if he can connect on 3 and 10th. Lou Moretti, one more shot to go, 176 his max score. Timothy Pierce, 183. Jerry Brunetti working on 3 strikes in a row. Still get to 224. Nice shot there from Shaw. So here's Brunetti attacking the lanes from the left side. Making it 4 in a row. A few early miscues from him, but has responded well in the back half of game 2. Just the 1-9 spare in the 6th frame. Everything else has been strikes since the 4th. Pierce gets to 172. All right, one final shot here for game 2. Jerry Brunetti Jr. Six on the fill gets him to 220, so 468 after 2 for Jerry. So off to a good start here. The opening round of A squad qualifying for the 2016 USBC Senior Masters. A big thanks to everyone for joining us here on Bowl TV. We'll have wire-to-wire coverage of the 2016 event here at Sam's Town Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Big thanks to the staff here at Sam's Town. Mike Kaufman and crew always do a great job. Make it easy when we travel to Las Vegas. Of course, a big thank you as well to our gold industry partners. You can see them, you can see their logos below the USBC Senior Masters banner above lanes 19 and 20. Columbia 300, Hammer, Kegel, and Storm. Big thanks to them for their continued support. So game 3 gonna get going underway in just a moment here. Players moving to their next pair. So don't go too far. We'll be right back here on Bowl TV. Game 3 coming up next.
right, Mr. Smith, just like that, Game 3 underway here at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters. If you're just joining us, still a long way to go. Game 3 of 15 underway right now. We are behind lanes 19 and 20, 21 and 22 here at Samstown Bowling Center. We'll be here all week long. Sit back and enjoy, grab some popcorn. Little Bowl TV, little Price is Right. What better way to spend a Tuesday? Aaron Smith looks so confused.
Is Bob Barker going to be here and you didn't tell me about it?
It's the post-Barker era.
I know, that's why he has time to come here.
Never know. Stranger things have happened here in Las Vegas.
Joining us here in game number 3 over on 1920, we have Terry Moros, Howard Loosbrock. Nice cover there by Terry, taking care of the 6-7-10. Ronald Cleveland, their third over on 21 and 22. We have Dave Erickson, Gabriel Lucetta, and Mr. Herbert will get his first name in just a moment here after Erickson attempts to pick up the 1, 2, 4, 8. Only able to get 2. And it's Kim Herbert, our third over on 21 and 22. Looks like more than 40 players are plus at the moment. 42 looks to be the number through 2 games. As soon as we get a refresh back to the top of the standings, we'll let you know who is on top. I believe it's going to be Mark Henkin of Greenville, Oregon. I scrolled through earlier. It looked like he was 500 or had more than 500 after 2. He's the only player to be at a 250 plus clip here in the early going. Shot 242 in the opener. Total of 86 players on this opening squad. Looks like Henkin might be at 509. A little tough to tell. It's, again, the screens here at Samstown kind of cut off the end number, so that is an unofficial total for Mr. Henkin. Michael Karch sitting in second. Forkel drops to third. Some talented players all around us here. Parker Bone, one pair to our left over on lanes 17 and 18. He had 475 for 2. Start off with a spare and a 3-bagger. See his ball going down the lane there. Shredding racks, as usual. Lenny Borsch, one pair to our right, along with our Super Senior Classic champion, Junichi Yajima from Japan, taking advantage of having both events taking place one after the other. The 70-year-old put on an impressive performance to capture that win. He's been coming to the United States to bowl every year since 1966. And his claim to fame before this had been a regional title here in the States. But he said he had never captured the big one. But he was thrilled to take home the victory here at Samstown. Put on a great showing all week. He's ready for more. Junichi, a superstar over in Japan. More than 40 titles on the JPBA Tour. All right, scores updated after 2 online as well now. Henkin was at 509, so he's our leader here in the early going. Mark Henkin from Greenville, Oregon, 242 at 267. Michael Karch from Edgewood, Washington at 492 after a pair of 246 games. Eric Forkel, now from the Las Vegas area in Henderson, 488 in third. Parker Bone, as we mentioned, at 475. He's in fourth. Lenny Borsch, fifth at 470. Jerry Brunetti, who we just saw here on Bowl TV, sitting in sixth at 468. Rodney Remmers from Moore, Texas at 463. He's tied with Dale Traber, two-time champion here. For that seventh spot, our defending champion, Amleto Monacelli, in ninth at 460. He's tied with Bob Learn Jr. to round out the top 10. Both of them averaging 230 here in the early going. Ron Moore just outside the top 10 at 447. Brian Voss, 437 and 15th. So definitely seeing some folks having no problem getting to the pocket early on the fresh here. One pair to our left. Parker, 6 in a row after a spare in the first. Following live scoring, can head to 53 and 54. Eric Forkel, we've mentioned his name a few times already, having no problem whatsoever. He's got the front 8. So Matt Cannizzaro getting his steps in, making the trek down there to see if Mr. Forkel can keep things going. So again, you can find that link for live scoring, bowl.com/Senior Masters. click on the 2016 results page, and that'll take you there. Looks like Forkel unable to strike on his offering in the 9th frame. Still will have 279 out there. Nice reset there by Ronald Cleveland. Something wasn't right, so he stepped back for a second, regrouped, makes it 3 in a row. One pair to our left. Parker bouncing back after a split in the 9th frame. He had a 3.79 up there for a second, but 3 fell out, turned into a 7.9. Struck on his first shot in the 10th. He can still get to 256. Was running with the opportunity to go 290, so Howard Loosebrock getting ready to step up in the 10th frame, 19 and 20, working on 4 in a row. Still gets to 249 this game. Ronald Cleveland, 4 in a row for himself before he gets up in the 10th. Parker finishes up 256. He's at 731. Here in the early going of the opening round of A squad qualifying here at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters. We'll have 3 squads today, and we'll have the cameras up for all of them here on Bowl TV. So we'll have a brief break in between each. So we'll actually have a different stream, if you will. So you'll just have to check right around the starting time. We'll usually get them going just before practice is over. B squad is scheduled to start bowling for score at noon Pacific. That'll be 3 on the East Coast. And then for C squad on the double burn, 4 p.m. local time here in Las Vegas, 7 p.m. Eastern. So opportunity all day. Check out the top players age 50 and above. International field as well. For those of you just tuning in and possibly unfamiliar with the format here at the Senior Masters, let me tell you. Qualifying will take place over 3 days. Competitors will bowl 5 games apiece each day for a total of 15 qualifying games, 5 of them on the fresh, 5 on the burn, 5 on the double burn. Then the top 63 players, along with defending champion Amleto Monacelli, will advance to the double elimination match play bracket. Bracket matches will be 3 games with total pinfall determining who advances. We'll eventually go from the field of 64 all the way down to the top 5 for the stepladder finals. That'll be on June 26th. So that's Sunday. And then that will also feature a true double elimination. For the top overall seed, will have to be defeated twice. Stepladder, of course, just 1 game matches, so a little bit different down the stretch, but the excitement definitely will be there. So be sure to follow along on Bowl TV all week. .238 for Loosebrock, great game. Gets him up to 585, so getting back to plus. Ronald Cleveland can still get to 215 with 1 more strike. That'll put him at 625. 176 for Terry Moros. Lucetta kicks off the 10th with a strike. Some struggles here in game 3, however. Let's look at a few more here to get to 139. Dave Erickson will finish up game number 3 for us here. Up on lane 22, working on a strike, and still get to 192 with 3 more in the 10th. One pair further to our right, Lenny Borsch. 8 out of 9 strikes, can still get to 275. And a 5 spare in the 4th frame. Junichi Yajima, our Super Senior Classic winner here. Still shoot 269. They're getting ready for the 10th frame over on 23 and 24. Their pair does have 4 on it, so there are a few like that. Looks like we'll get to see Bob Learn Jr. joining us for game 4 in just a moment. Be up on 19 and 20. Our good friend KJ joining us in the chat. Kevin Johnson. It's a good dude right there. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everybody for tuning in here for the opening round of A Squad qualifying at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters. Still 2 games to go here in this opening block. Game 4 coming up next. Just waiting for our competitors to make their way. So everybody hang tight. Game 4 coming up next on Bowl TV. We'll have that to you shortly. Game number 4 now underway on our featured pairs. Hall of Famer Brian Voss joining us on 19 and 20. Looking at some trouble here in the early going. 2-4-10 on his first shot. He's at 663. Through 3 and takes care of the spare. Great cover to kick things off. Showing off here early on in game 4. He's joined by Forrest Cole, David Chu, and Bob Learn Jr. Over on 21 and 22, we have Rico Pura joining us from South Lake Tahoe, California. Scott Doobie, Kevin Foley, and Stephen Palinko Sr. Bob Learn is high out of our current grouping with 715 out of the gates, so plus 115. If you enjoy scoring it that way. Eric Forkel moves back into the top spot in the standings. It's now 750 plus. Question in the chat about the pattern. It's we have that up on bold.com/Senior Masters if you'd like to take a look. This week's pattern, 40 feet in length, 28.84 for the volume. We are on the Kegel Ice Oil this week. Once again, this pattern has to survive 3 squads, so just 1 oil per day. So throughout qualifying, each of these competitors will get 5 games on the fresh, 5 on the burn, and 5 on the double burn. Standings now online after 3 games. Eric Forkel, as we mentioned, had the big string of strikes to start game 3, ended with 268. He's at 756. Lenny Borsch finished with the ever popular 274 in game 3 to get to 744. Parker Bone, 731 in third. Bob Lernon, our featured pair, 715. Mark Hankin in 5th, 704. Our defending champion, Amleto Monacelli, in 6th at 700. On the nose, Ron Moore in 7th, 693. Michael Karch in 8th, 682. Ross McDonald, steady so far today at 677. In our 2015 Super Senior Classic champion, Sam Macarone, moves into the top 10 with 676. Question in the chat about live scoring. It is available. Visit bowl.com/Senior Masters. Click on the 2016 results tab. There'll be a link for live scoring. Mr. Terry Rohr checking in. He's going to be competing later today on C Squad. Taking advantage of Bowl TV to see what's happening out here on the lanes instead of making the trek here to the bowling center itself. So Bowl TV also used as a tool. Thanks for checking in, Terry. Question in the chat about the length of the pattern. 40 feet this week on Kegel Ice Oil. If you want to see the graph itself, visit bowl.com/Senior Masters. Click on the information tab. We'll have that and more. Kevin Foley got a flex after that one, throwing sticks around for 3 in a row. Joking around with some folks saying that's number 2 for the year for throwing messengers around. So having some fun out there. Rico Pura delivers for a double the 4th and 5th. So we hit the halfway point of game 4. We'll have one more after this for A squad. We'll take a quick break here and be back at it. B squad at noon local time. It'll be 3 p.m. Eastern for B squad qualifying. We'll have their 5 games. Followed by C squad later today. It's 4 local, 7 Eastern. Strikes have been few and far between on 19 and 20 so far. Just one strike, courtesy of Brian Voss. He's going to look to make it a double in his first strike on lane 20. Back-to-back messengers for Kevin Foley. Makes it 4 in a row. Voss delivers for the double, 25-time PBA Tour National Champion. Nice shot from Stephen Polinko. If you're gonna leave an 8-pin, goodness. Bob Learn Jr. had that one halfway down. Did not tumble. Hitting the home stretch of game number 4. Bob Learn connects for his first double. Brian Voss getting ready to step up on lane 19 on 4 in a row. Rico Pura is going to look for 6 in a row after a few early opens. Forrest Cole delivers his second strike on lane 20. Voss gets the messenger to slightly connect, doesn't take out the 10, however. To Eric Schneider in the chat room, I appreciate the kind words. However, Matt Cannizzaro was the one who accomplished that feat all on his own. So he is the one who deserves the credit. Late trip of the 10 for Bob Learn Jr., making up for that 8-pin. Matt, how did you get that video back?
I cannot reveal my secret, sir. It's job security.
Solid call.
Yeah. Much like we got camera 3 working today here on our live stream broadcast for the scoreboards, we are magicians behind the scenes. Usually it's in the other direction where we break stuff and make things disappear, but in this case, we're able to bring it back.
Kevin Foley crosses over, but will cash it in. Can still get to 256 this game. Rico Pura still striking away. Back-to-back 10 pins for Brian Voss. Messenger doesn't get it in the 8th frame and rings it in the 9th. Still get to 235 with the conversion. Rico finishes up 233, 243 for Kevin Foley. Scott Doby get to 192. Stephen Pavlenko Sr. 209. Learn unable to get the 10 pin out here in the 9th frame. With the spare conversion, his max score 213. Just as a reminder, 1 game to go for A squad qualifying round number 1. Coming up next here on Bowl TV. As soon as these folks finish up and we get our next set of competitors, Game 5 will be underway. We'll talk to our leader after this opening squad as well, get a few quick thoughts. In case they end up holding on to the lead. Of course, we'll have a recap at the end of the day on bowl.com. Some folks on the fresh definitely putting up some big numbers here to kick things off, so. See if the numbers can get even bigger on the burn. Starting at noon local time here in Las Vegas for B squad. It's 3 p.m. Eastern. Of course, the double burn, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific here in Las Vegas. One pair to our left. Lenny Borsch is heading in the wrong direction after 274 in game number 3. He has a spare to convert to get to 174 now. So he had moved up into the top 5 after the big game 3. Heading in the wrong direction here in game 4. Final shot, Brian Voss delivers all 3 in the 10th, 235 for the Hall of Famer. Forrest Cole finishes up at 177. Play trip for David Chu. He can still get to 209 with 2 more. Game 5 underway over on 21 and 22. Our lineup Michael Owen, James Martin, and Roger Taylor. Martin kicking things off with a strike. For Owen, he's staring down a 2-4-10. David Chu delivers the double. He'll be in the 2-0s now. .201 for Bob Learn Jr.
Mr. Smith here on lane 19. Here's a gentleman who's been in the headlines as of late, Dave Sirigliano. Made some noise at the USBC Open Championships at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. He and his team, all 5 members, age 50 and above, took the lead in the team event. Came back the next day, bowled well again, took the lead in team all events. And Dave became the 2nd bowler in tournament history with 3 perfect games on the championship lanes, all 3 coming at the NBS in Reno. And their scores in team and team all events have been beaten since, but still a pretty cool storyline to see 5 senior players all come together, years of experience, and take the lead. And pretty solid score, 3,300. Right now, 3rd place overall. It's a nice run and nice record to share for Sirigliano. He and Craig Splett, the only bowlers in tournament history with 3 perfect games. And I think now would be a pretty good time for one more. Get yourself a Senior Masters 300 and make a big move heading into day number 2. This event, 5 games a day. Doesn't feel like a lot. Spend a lot of time watching, relaxing, waiting, wondering, contemplating the what ifs. Especially if you bowl the first squad the last day. Your score's in the books, and then you have to wait 8 or 10 hours to find out if you're in.
Well, luckily there's plenty to do here at Samstown to keep you entertained during that time if you're not tuning into Bowl TV to hear our witty commentary. However, interesting side note with Dave. We mentioned earlier about Amleto having some issues with tendonitis, and he ended up switching his span and switching some pitches around. And Sirigliano was the one responsible for that. So he was the one who made the suggestion to make the change after he and Amleto worked on a few things. And as we mentioned, apparently the right move, as Amleto recorded a top 5 finish at the Senior US Open and went on to win the PBA 50 Tour the following week.
There you have it, Mr. Smith. It all comes around full circle. So now we'll have 6 degrees of separation with Dave Sirigliano.
So if Amleto happens to defend his title, please send, or for the competitors, thank Dave partially for that. Amleto's pretty good in his own right, though, so he'd probably be partially responsible as well. Joining Dave on 19 and 20, we have Michael Karch, who's been around the top of the standings. There's Kevin Anderson as well, looking for 2 in a row. Gets it. Final player on their pair, Malcolm Hellmuth from Elk Grove, California. So there's our lineup for our final game. Moving right along on lanes 21 and 22. One less player. Already halfway through. Looks like Parker Bone has moved to the top of the standings. He's averaging close to 250. 991 the official total. That's a 247.75 average for his 4 games. Our defending champion Amleto Monacelli moves into second, 948. Eric Forkel in third at 947. He's 1 pair to our left on 17 and 18. He started off with the front 4 of this game, so we'll see if he can keep that going. 191 in game 4. Lenny Borsch drops to 4th at 918. So despite shooting 174, still in the top 5. Bob Learn Jr. in 5th, 916. Ron Moore at 899 in 6th. Brian Voss, who we also just saw in 7th at 898. Our 2016 Super Senior Classic champion Junichi Yajima in 8th with 897. First time we've seen this guy make his way into the top 10. You may have heard of him, Pete Weber in 9th, 877. Rounding out the top 10, Joseph Petrovich, who we saw in our opening game here on Bowl TV, is in 10th at 874.
as we sit here watching the final game of qualifying on A squad here at the USBC Senior Masters. Secretly, quietly multitasking here in the booth. Keeping an eye on the Open Championships in Reno. Of course, your baby, across town, the USBC Women's Championships and USBC Mixed at the South Point Bowling Plaza. Just made a big announcement about Junior Team USA headed to the World Championships coming up this summer. And PWBA action also coming up on TV tonight. And if you want to share those details here, and of course we'll have the recap of all of these things on bowl.com. So keep an eye on that website for all the latest news and notes. But Aaron's going to tell you about the PWBA so you can watch some ladies on TV after your coverage of the Senior Masters today.
It's a great point, Matt. Bowling happening all summer here around the country, and of course the PWBA has 13 shows taking place on CBS Sports Network, and tonight's show is the PWBA Storm Sacramento Open. So our finalists for that event, the opening match, Andrew Ramirez Perea taking on New Wei Finn. So we got some international flavor in that opening match. The winner will take on Team USA staple Shannon Pluhowski. Winner of that match will take on top seed from Singapore, Sherry Tan. So definitely a very talented group there. Certainly going to put on a good show for you. That's going to take place at 10 p.m. Eastern. Once again on CBS Sports Network, so be sure to check your local listings. See where it's playing in your area. And support the PWBA. It's back. Season 2 of the relaunch. Bigger and better. We're getting to see a few pretty exciting shows. Of course, very emotional win for Shannon O'Keefe at the nationwide PWBA Sonoma County Open. That was last Tuesday on CBS Sports Network. Also saw Liz Johnson capture her 15th PWBA title at the PWBA Las Vegas Open. The season kicked off with Singapore's Bernice Lim winning the USBC Queens in a pretty amazing stepladder final that featured 5 different countries, which is pretty cool. So the lineup on CBS Sports Network already been pretty good. It's going to get even better throughout the year. That show again tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. The PWBA Storm Sacramento Open. You can read a preview story on pwba.com. Put together by Matt Cannizzaro. Talking about Shannon Pluhowski. She actually skipped one of the events in the early going to help provide a future for the sport. Running a youth event back home in Dayton, Ohio, so you can read more about that. Once again, pwba.com.
So the summer of bowling rolls on. It's actually the first day of summer today, I believe. But yeah, between the ladies and the seniors and the super seniors, definitely keeping us busy and keeping us on our toes. And coming up later in July, Junior Gold Championships, followed by the World Youth Championships, and then back to some more top ladies bowling, PWBA and the US Women's Open. So much going on, and a lot of it being brought to you live here on Bowl TV. PWBA Tour on Extra Frame. Keeping Aaron Smith out of trouble.
Certainly doing that. Over on lanes 17 and 18, Eric Forkel is going to be looking for his 8th consecutive strike to start Game 5. You'll see his ball going down a lane at 17 right there. Forkel connects.
One pair to our left. Eric Forkel striking again. I got called down to the high end of the center earlier. He had the front 8, I believe. And now working on the front 8 again here on 17 and 18. If he gets one more, I will head that way and try to get something usable for USBC Facebook page. And he goes through the face. Greek Church for Mr. Forkel. So anytime we point out his success, he gets nervous.
Way to go,
Still
Matt.
coming into this game, 3rd overall at plus 147. So this certainly is going to help solidify his place in the standings. However, Parker Bone, who was leading at plus 191, finishes with 267 down at the far end. He had 11 strikes that game with a 9 dash in the 8th frame. So again, even Parker Bone showing that he's human, missing a single pin, but as Ron Moore said, inexcusable at this level.
Parker, in his defense, hasn't had to shoot very many today, averaging over 250. Randy Taylor looking for 3 in a row. Throws everything but the kitchen sink at the 7.
Well, based on that math, Mr. Smith, pretty clear that nobody can catch Parker Bone on this squad. Monacelli was the closest at plus 148. He would need 310 to get there. So I'm gonna go see if I can catch up with Parker as everybody's getting done. And I'll be back for B Squad coming up at noon local time, 3 p.m. on the East Coast. We do appreciate everybody joining us. Aaron Smith, take it away.
All right, Matt, thanks, and continue the great work. Appreciate it. So, be riding solo for the final few frames here. Nearly complete on 21 and 22, moving a little bit quicker with one less bowler on the pair. Michael Owen looking to finish strong here after a few splits in the early going. Get to 190 with 2 more strikes. James Martin, pretty solid this game. 7 out of 9 strikes. Deliver 3 more to finish up with 2 of 43. Martin comes in a little bit light, leaves the 2-4. Can still get to 221. Not the final game Michael Karch was looking to put together, but gets the hit there. Michael Owen finishes with 189. Roger Taylor, throw 3 in the 10 for 197, gets the first one. Eric Forkel finishes with 2 of 51 after starting with 8 consecutive strikes. Greek Church in the 9th frame slowed him down, but he's going to be in great position here after round number 1. Average at 240 plus. Almost 240 plus, I should say. 1 pin shy from the 240 mark for Forkel, so 239 still pretty good. So I'll have one more shot here from Roger Taylor, and 21 and 22 will go quiet for a while. Kevin Anderson, 5 out of 6 to start. Didn't like that one off his hand. Just leaves a 3-6 though. Taylor finishes up with 195. He's plus 23 at the end of the block. Michael Owen, minus 22. For Martin, minus 35. So all attention now is going to 19 and 20 as they finish up their final few frames, starting in the 8th. Malcolm comes in a little bit light, leaves the 2-4-5. Dave Sirigalana. Trips the 2. Kicking off the foundation frame here on 19 and 20. Hellmuth leaves the baby split. Not the shot Dave was looking for, but takes the crossover to set up a double for the 10th. Parker Bone is going to be your leader after A squad. Matt Cannizzaro has already made the trek across the bowling center and has left the live stream booth in order to secure Parker for a few quick thoughts. So we'll see if any of the competitors on B or C squad can make a run at that number. Once again, Parker 1258. On top of the standings. Averaging more than 250. Sirigliano get to 208 with one more strike on the fill. That would give him to +5 overall for the block. Hellmuth can get to 172. Michael Karch struggles here in the finale. Still is going to be +4 today with some count here, but just not finding the right look. Gets the hit to kick things off though. So save 159 and get to +24 for the day. 2 more strikes. Kevin Anderson is going to be high out of this group in the final game. Was looking for a little bit more on that shot though. Could have gotten to 245. Settle for 225 now. His day going pretty well though. Can get to +79. Strike on the fill ball. As we have our final 2 shots here, just a reminder not to go too far away from Bowl TV. We'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon local time here in Las Vegas for the opening round of B squad qualifying at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters. So we're all done with those shots. 224 for Anderson. So we're going to turn the cameras off for just a little bit. Once again, we'll be back in about an hour for B squad qualifying. A squad in the books with their first 5. B and C still yet to come. So we will be back soon. On behalf of Matt Cannizzaro, I'm Aaron Smith. We'll talk to you soon here on Bowl TV. Thanks again.